Hello all, welcome back to Database Management System session. In today's class, we are going to learn the last topic under Unit 5, which is the execution of the stored procedure from Java, which involves different steps. Let us learn one by one. The first one is load the JDBC driver, which is Java Database Connectivity Driver. And this particular driver must be loaded into the Java application in order to establish the connection with the database. So for that purpose, it is necessary to load the JDBC driver. And next coming to establish the JDBC connection. This is done using the driver manager class in order to establish the connection. That is, here we are going to make use of this particular method called get connection method to establish the connection. So in order to communicate with the database, it is necessary to establish a connection. For that, we will be using this get connection method. And coming to create a callable statement. When this callable statement object is used, it is used to execute the stored procedure. So for that, it is necessary to create a callable statement. And this is going to represent here, this particular thing is going to represent the placeholder for the input parameters. And next coming to set input parameters. If the stored procedure requires input parameters, then these needs to be set on the callable statement object. So for that, we will be making use of several set string methods, or this may even include the set data method, etc. Okay. And next, let us see what are the other steps involved. Coming to execute the stored procedure. Here you are using this execute query for the procedures in order to return a resultant set. That means whenever the callable statement object provides some methods to execute the stored procedure, we will be making use of several methods like execute query method, or we may have other methods like execute update method for the procedures that is used to update the database. Likewise, we normally make use of an execute. Okay, this execute is also used for the procedures which might return multiple results, or may have an unknown types of results as well. And next coming to process the results. So what do you mean by this? Process the results is if the store procedure returns a result set, then you can retrieve and process it using the result set object. That means this is going to involve iterating over the result set and extracting the data returned from the stored procedure. Next, coming to the seventh step, which is handle output parameters. That means if the stored procedure has output parameters, this can be retrieved after execution using getter methods on the callable statement method. It says that if the stored procedure has output parameters, then that can be retrieved after the execution by using what? Using this getter methods. On which object? On callable statement object. Next, coming to the eighth one, which is close resources. Here, it is necessary to close all the database resources, like we have result set, and some of the callable statements, right? And any connections. So all these particular resources, in order to free up the database connections, or in order to free the memory resources, it is necessary to close all the resources. So these are the different steps involved in executing a stored procedure from Java. Let us take down an example program and understand what it is. As we all know, this line is going to import all the classes from the java.sql package. Okay, and this is going to provide the classes for working with the databases interface. And next, coming to this, here a new public class name is declared, which is execute stored procedure is a class name. And here we know that public static void main is a main method from where the entry of the execution takes place. And this, when this is executed, database connections are made. Here in the place of your database, it is necessary to replace with your actual database name. And next, these two are what? These two sets the username and the password for the database connection. Okay, this one is used for establishing the database connection, and these two things are used for giving the username and the password for the database connection. And next, let us see what are these. These three defines what these are the variable declarations which are made in order to hold the different objects in it. And next coming to this try catch block. This particular block is used in order to handle any exceptions that may occur during the database operations. Let us see the first step. The first step is establish the connection as we have discussed previously. So in the first step, this is going to establish the connection to the database using what? Using this JDBC URL. Okay. And it's coming to the second step, prepare the callable statement. So these lines are used for preparing the callable statements. That means here it is necessary to replace your stored procedure with what? Your actual procedure name. The procedure name which you might have already created. So that procedure name you need to replace over here. And next, coming to the step 3, set input parameters if any. This line sets the first input parameter to the integer, okay? And this line sets the second input parameter as a string. And next, coming to execute the stored procedure. Here, we have to execute the stored procedure. To execute the stored procedure, and it returns what it is going to return a Boolean. Here you can see when this callable statement is executed, when this is called, then what happens? When the store procedure will be executed, when this method is called, then the store procedure will be executed. So here it is going to execute the store procedure and it returns a Boolean indicating whether the result set is returned. Fine. And next coming to the last process, that is process the result set if any. Here you are going to check whether it has the result set has returned with some value or not. When if this callable statement has returned some value for the result set, then for each row the result set has been processed. Every time for each row it is being iterated. This column one, what it has a value of an integer, right? This is a get int method. It is going to return the integer value and it is stored in this column 1. And this get string, this column 2 is having a value called a string type of value that is returned at it, and it is stored in column 2. Finally, you are going to print the values that comes under column 1 and column 2. We have this line that is catch SQL exception e dot print stack trace. That means this line is going to print the stack trace of the exception. Okay. And finally, what is the last step we have? It is necessary to close all the resources in order to free the database. So for that, this close method is being used. And if the result set is not null, then you are going to close as well as the callable set and the connection. All these are finally closed in order to free the database. So this is all about today's class. Hope you have understood today's lecture. Thank you.